Hello Aquarius friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Aquarius September 2025 astrology horoscope forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month for Aquarius, money rains down on Aquarius, thanks to 2 eclipses in your money houses. And we'll go into all the details of this, plus talk about other things you really need to know to make this month the best possible. This is for you if Aquarius is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Aquarius placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Very late degree Aquarius friends, so birthdays like February 15th through the rest of the sign, or 23 degree Aquarius placements through the rest of the sign. I suggest you additionally listen to my Pisces report, as your very late degree cuspy friends will benefit from both readings. All right, so September is one of the most intense months of the whole year, no doubt about it. We've got a series of things going on to make it so. I will quickly go over those and then we'll dive into the Aquarius specific storylines. This month has a massive amount of aspects. Aspects are when the planets connect in mathematical, meaningful ways, and it's busy. There's a busy sky, and 2/3 of those are challenged, pressured aspects. Now, don't fear this because sometimes it takes pressure to make a diamond, and sometimes pressured aspects can just crack you out of something and give you momentum or impetus to make a change that you've been wanting to do, or that you've been needing to do. It will give you the impetus to do that. So sometimes pressure is a good thing, like the pressure of working hard to get to a deadline and then having the final result. The pressure of birthing a baby, so these kind of things are examples of something that's pressured, but that's a good thing. And you may find a lot of the aspects this month may yield the same type of energy. So even though we do have classically more challenged aspects, those challenges can turn out to be good and you can make lemonade out of them as well. But it's busy and you will feel it and it will be intense, and that is what's going on. Something else that is making this a really big month is that as of August 26th through October 21st, we've got the last full period of personal planets being direct, no retrogrades, which means that this is your tides out alert. If you follow my tidal analogies, when we're in the retrogrades, the tides are coming in and you're supposed to wait on the shore and just see what comes to you. Anything you try to put out there, the tides will bring back to you, but we're not in that time now. So you being on the shore now, wanting to launch your ship of dreams, your big decisions, your big life projects, launches, new businesses, big job changes, big purchases, big sales, big contracts. This is a fantastic month for that. Do know that there will be extra intensity in the days around September 7th and the days around the 21st because of the eclipse, and you may want to give a little space between those points to take your action if possible, just because it's very, very intense, and we'll get into that here soon. But, this is a time for action. This is a time to make things happen. This is a time to push through challenges and to get to your desired result. So it's really exciting. And of course, one of the biggest things that makes it most intense is that we have 2 eclipses. We've got the September 7th full moon lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces. We've got the September 21st new moon, which is a black moon, solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo. Black moons are when it is the second new moon in a calendar month or a sign. So we had that Virgo new moon on August 23rd, and this is the second one making it a black moon. We also have a bunch of aspects flavoring each of these, these lunar events, and I'll talk more about that, but I'm trying to build the picture here. The picture is that we've got trajectory shifts, life-changing news, fated experiences, the rift in time and space that I went into a lot, the physics lesson from my August report. You can go back to that if you haven't listened to it, that time and space actually do change with gravitational alignments like eclipses. And time and space already warp around in a circle of a sphere's gravity field. So basically, items of mass or objects of mass carry their own gravitational field, and gravity goes warps around these, not necessarily just up and down like Newton, postulated. So I talk about that and how that creates rifts in time, which basically allows you to burn up a massive amount of karma in a short amount of time and helps you to achieve goals with shortened timelines. This is, a thing that does link into physics, which I explained there, and it is really exciting. But here we go. It's super intense, and that is why September is one of the most intense months of the year. So We're working with all of these energies. Now, as I alluded to in the title, Money Rains Down on Aquarius, of course, not all Aquarius placements are going to have that outcome. When we talk about astrological weather, just like when we talk about any other weather, there are probabilities at play here. There are increased probabilities of something happening. That doesn't make it a guarantee. Everyone knows that sometimes it says it's going to rain and it doesn't. Sometimes it says it's not going to rain and it does. We're talking about probabilities. So there's an increased chance that your financial sectors are going to be very much activated. The money you earn, second house, the money that comes to you through loans, gifts, shared resources, family money, spousal money, eighth house, intangible, lesser seen, stocks, crypto, other kinds of investments, eighth house, the money you earn, the money you invest, your business, your time, the second house. So both of those are activated by these two eclipses at this time, and it's not just now. 2024, the second half through the first half of 2027. We're midway through now. This is the third eclipse sequence within this bigger cycle. And it is changing Aquarius's money world. It's changing your perceptions of money, your perspectives of money. It's changing how you make money, how you value yourself, and how you dance with the material realm and the lesser seen immaterial resources, because the eighth house doesn't just rule money. It rules resources. Anything, it's ruled by Pluto, and Pluto rules mining, things that are under the ground. So it will rule commodities and different kinds of, precious metals and things like that as well. But, more figuratively speaking, it's psychological gold, it's spiritual gold, it's resources, emotional resources, spiritual resources, intimate resources, connecting with other people, collaborating. All of that's being activated at this time. So, be looking out for those storylines, for those lessons. Let's talk a little bit more about, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to go deeper into the eclipses. I just want to touch on a couple of other points first. At the beginning of the month, we do have some strong energy in Leo still that's activating your Libra relationship sector. The eighth house is a deeper version of those relationship energies. So you've got the more superficial connections, like you connecting with someone else, you getting something done, like the communication between you, the interaction between you and someone else. That is very busy this month, and it involves money. Venus is there. And then you've got these deeper things, the investments, the collaborations, the merging of money. So all of that is going on. Then you also have Mars moving through fellow air sign, Libra, making a nice angle for you, activating your momentum, your initiative, helping you to be more motivated to take action. Aquarius energy lives in the mental realm. So of course you're more than just your sun sign or whatever Aquarius placement you're watching for. We're very complex. We have each of the planets and placements as part of our layers of our being. So you're so much more than your sun sign. But the Aquarius part of you is this intellectual, does meet on the mental plane, does, invest in that mental rapport. And whenever we do have air transits, they do connect in and make the most favorable aspect in all of astrology. They speak your language with Aquarius. And Mars, the planet of action, is doing that now. So Mars is moving through, giving you momentum in your ninth house, publishing, writing, speaking, expanding your horizons, travel, international business, immigration. So if you're looking for some special gifts in those arenas, Mars is still giving that to you. And because this month is free from the personal planet retrogrades, as we discussed before, if you want to launch your book, if you want to, try to move to a different country, if you want to try to get that job that has an international connection of some sort, this could be an amazing time for Aquariuses in those arenas. The ninth house also rules teaching and learning. So you may find a perfect school or education program. You may finish and complete something you were working on. You may teach, move into teaching or expand your teaching. But the bringing in of information and the putting out of information is very expanded at this time for Aquarius. So if you're trying to do something important with that, launch a school online, start coursework, the stars are really on your side this month, and you have a bunch of forward movement for those types of endeavors. All right, so let's break the month up into the first half and the second half. This is the best way I've seen to try to organize everything that I have going on here. So this September 7th full moon lunar eclipse, endings, fullness, completion, fruition, 15 degrees of Pisces happening in your earned income house. Something's going on with something that you own. your relationship with the earth, your relationship with money, your salary, your relationship with your value of what you deserve to earn. Asking for raises, maybe a good venture this month. Looking for promotions this month is really supportive of all of those types of things. You also have a star goddess trio, Lilith, Juno, and Vesta in Scorpio. People in powerful positions in your work sector. Maybe you are the person in the powerful position, or you're becoming that. Maybe those people are on your side at this time. So, seek collaboration and interaction with others to reach your goals in your career and your place out in the world. For those of you who don't have to work, this can just be your place out in the world where you're not earning money. Maybe you volunteer at the library. Maybe you have a passion project with gardening. Something that you're doing where you interact with your community and other people can be activated at this time too, not just the money sector. Now, feeding into this storyline, on the 4th of September, but echoing out really from the last days of August into at least September 9th and maybe beyond, Mars, the planet of action, but also the planet of war, god of war, is squaring Jupiter. And that is, okay, so Mars was here. In the 9th house, we talked about that. Jupiter's here. And this is something trying to move forward, trying to push forward, and someone is blocking it. Something is blocking it in your day-to-day experience. It could be a person. It could be, this Libra connection where you're trying to expand and someone's not letting you. It could be something, because this 6th house relates to pets and animals. Maybe you want to get a new pet and someone in your household is like, no, you can't. That's just one example that I see. There's someone running interference to something that you want to do, or something that is, someone that's ornery, or something that's getting in the way of you trying to build a new daily routine, expanded daily routine. Aquarius is in a year process from June 2025 to June 2026, or like close to July 2026, of your daily experience being expanded, new horizons being opened, new neural pathways, new ways of doing things, new business. If you're self-employed, this is amazing for that. So that's a year awesome expansion. However, at this time, in the first 10 days or so of the month, we've got some interference to that. But the good news about that is right after that, September 12th, we've got the Sun and then Mercury making a great aspect to Jupiter. So any of that issue that was going on with Mars and the holdup, now when the Sun and Mercury come through and make that beautiful angle with Jupiter, it's possible that the solution comes in. So we have a lot of that this month, where there are some points of conflict, and then there are some sweet aspects that come and kind of mop up the mess. And all of these flavor this eclipse energy because they are within close enough proximity to be influencing at the same time. Okay, so all of this is happening, and all of these stories may also be centered around your work and the way you make money, basically, and your income. This could have to do with gardening. This could have to do with, any ways that you engage with your material environment. All right, now in the second half of the month, we've got a couple more several couplets of energy. We've got the Sun and Mercury in the days around the 17th. Okay, so the aspects I'm about to talk about now are feeding into the September 21st new moon, black moon, solar eclipse at 29 degrees of Virgo. And that's the one that's happening in your 8th house. We talked about that, the lesser seen realm, this underground world ready for harvest. Could be a spiritual harvest, could be a financial harvest, could be an emotional, intimate harvest. But something is wanting to be developed here. And not only do you have the eclipse, you've got Mercury, the Sun, and then later in the month on the 20th, Venus going into this 8th house for Aquarius. It's a very, very busy time. The Sun is elucidating, showing problems and solutions. Mercury is bringing communication to talk through whatever comes up. Venus is bringing blessings, money, interactions, possibly even something having to do with your love relationship, all in front and center at this point. So that's happening. But then the Sun and Mercury come and they square Saturn. Oh, I'm sorry, they don't square it. I need to fix that. They oppose Saturn. And so Sun and Mercury get over to this position. They oppose Saturn. And now you've got a standoff, like those old West movies where someone draws a gun and they take their steps and they turn around and who's going to shoot who first kind of thing. So that's what's going on. There's a standoff in your realm of your earned money, your financial autonomy, and your shared money. People controlling you with money, toxic money, and you having full say in your financial life. This is an empowerment process that's going from 2024 to 2027, and you are in a hot spot for it now. Where are you disempowered in your finances? Where are you disempowered in your material expression? Where do you have to break through in order to get to the next level of your experience? What questions are you asking yourself? So many people in the world are forced to ask the question, how do I survive each day? And this is a very valid point. If you're in that situation, you have to ask that question. I know that situation well. I've definitely been there. One of the things that one of the opportunities that these eclipse cycles are giving you is to start to ask different questions. Now, while day to day you have to ask, how are you going to survive? Maybe you can start to, with a small percentage of your time, ask the bigger question, how can you thrive? And this is just a little exercise that you can do to start to open up your being into expansion. Because when you start to say, like, ask yourself the question, we basically define and create our lives by the questions we ask ourselves. And we tell our subconscious mind what information to filter in and out of our existence to be in our conscious reality based on the questions we ask ourselves. So if you are in a survival reality, spend a little bit of time asking the question, not only how can you survive, but how can you thrive? Because you can have major breakthroughs. And as I asserted before, or alluded to before, you can actually collapse timelines, because I talked about this in the August report. I suggest you go back and listen to it because I'm not going to go through all of it. But Einstein's theory of general relativity talks about gravity bending time and space, a gravitational field forming around an object of mass. When you have a lineup in an eclipse, it essentially increases the object of mass from these energies coming together, which distorts time and space even more, which is why there's those weird timeline collapsings that I've been telling you about over time at this at eclipse time. But because of that, you can also clear out karma, belief systems, things that you thought, things that you understood, things that were interfering with your next level. And it could be something as simple as just starting to ask a bigger question. What would have to happen for you to thrive? What can you do in order to thrive? What resources can you access in order to help you thrive? And if you start asking that question, it changes the game. And then you still may have to tend to your survival things daily, but the more you let those bigger questions in, the more your consciousness is expanded, the more your unconscious mind and your reticular activating system is filtering in resources to help you step into these new questions and the game that you play with these new questions. So this is what's happening in your financial world. Then after that point of conflict, we've got Mercury making a beautiful aspect with Uranus and then Pluto, and activating changes out of the blue. You know, there's a positive aspect. So again, there's a conflict and then there's a sweet aspect. That's one of the things I'm trying to illustrate at this point. In the days, well, September 24th, I'm going to give it at least 5 or 6 days before. So we'll say the 19th, 20th of September, possibly sooner. And then for the rest of the month, Mars, Pluto, this is a dangerous one, guys. I really don't, you know, I'm an optimist, but I'm also a realist. My Capricorn side makes me talk about the realistic stuff. My Sag side makes me talk about the expanded horizons and the optimism. But I can't overestimate the importance of being very aware during Mars and Pluto. Don't antagonize people. Don't flip someone off when you're driving. If anyone's on edge, they're more likely to snap. If you're in a delicate, not safe situation, try to get out in that time. It's sort of a hide under a rock warning, if you can, during that transit. Now, there are other great things and other things going on that can flavor this, but you really want to be on high alert because Pluto, you know, rules birth, death, transformation, and rebirth, and Mars is the god of war, and it's in a point of conflict, which is a square. But as I was talking about before, what we're seeing this month is with all of these icky aspects, there's one right behind it or next to it, the Sun making a trine with Uranus, and then Pluto. Trine is the most favorable aspect in all of astrology. Again, first it was Mercury that did this sequence. Now it's the Sun doing this sequence. So it's awakening these possibilities from these points of conflict. These new ideas are coming in on how to resolve whatever is going on. So it's a very intense month. It's a month full of opportunities, and definitely you can travel very far, and you may find sudden trajectory shifts from the eclipses, but you can also actively, consciously manifest better circumstances for yourself by utilizing awareness and other tools at this time. Now, If you love astrology and you want to learn astrology and you resonate with how I teach and you want to learn, you will love to claim over $1,100 in free promos for my Black Moon promo when you register for my Astrology Mastery Certification course. You receive all of this stuff for free. Unleash Your Money Magnet, Celestial Mindscapes. These are all of my products. Train Your Brain Subliminals. This is a time with the Pisces eclipses where intuition is reigning supreme and the inner world is awakening in major ways. And these tools, the Celestial Mindscapes and the Unleash Your Money Magnet, talking about redoing your financial world. This is an amazing tool. And the Train Your Brain Subliminal series. Plus my brand new mega Star Goddess Astrology course. If you have been wondering where some of the ladies' voices are in astrology besides Venus and the Moon, I have a whole course on this, and the only way to get this course is actually with this Black Moon promo, and you get it for free. So go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, to see more details about the promos and about this course and to register. It runs from the new moon to the new moon, so Virgo, August 23rd, new moon, through September 21st, the eclipse. If you want all of my content free and early, all of my free content early and free VIP access to major resources, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com. Put your name and email address in there. You get my eclipse resource page, retrograde resource page, zodiac health tips. I give most of the work I do in the world is free, okay? And this is just more goodies. If you like the aspects, if this month was interesting for you because I went into more of the aspects and you like those, you'll want my sweet and salty report for the challenge and the sweet dates. There are so many aspects this month. I talked about a lot of them, but I did not even scratch the surface of them all. So when you go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, put your name and email address in, get the archive, or get the welcome letter, click on the archive link, put September 2025 astrology in there. Midway through that newsletter, you will find the dates, and the second half of the newsletter goes into details. If you're wondering how the outer planet changes, all of the outer planets have changed signs in recent times, and you want to see how that affects your personal chart. Go to AnnieBClarity.com, Annie the letter B, Clarity.com, to get your personalized outer planet transit report by me. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.